Quite some military mobilization underway at the southern U.S. border with Mexico. Troops are being ferried about by helicopters for training, for exercises, and beyond that, for deployment at several places along that long border. Surveillance is underway from the skies and at ground level, searching for illegal migrants looking to sneak in to the US from the southern border. Whole convoys are on the move, moving troops around from one position to another. More perhaps even than the actual strategic deployment, these military maneuvers are a message that Trump is determined to put a stop to illegal migration that had peaked in the years of the Biden administration earlier. Trump was elected primarily on the promise of putting an end to such migration, and he is determined to do this. And for that, he is dipping into the might of the U.S. military and taking other steps like the move to strengthen and extend the wall between the U.S. and Mexico, such as this one here. We are here in San Diego on the U.S. side of this wall, and right across, right behind on the other side is Mexico. And the wall was built and strengthened, of course, to stop people trying to cross over from Mexico into the U.S. at will. Armored personnel carriers have been posted at positions all along the border with soldiers on the lookout for signs of illegal migrants seeking to cross over. These have been equipped with sophisticated radar systems with a long range to look out for signs of any suspicious activity, of any indication that some people might be trying to cross over into the United States. Beyond the radar systems and the lookout, walls are now being rebuilt. This work had been started by the Trump administration earlier, was suspended in the Biden days, but has been resumed vigorously, and at points not just one but two walls are being built as a double barrier to migrants seeking to cross over. A lot of these are topped with state-of-the-art surveillance equipment, and US soldiers along the border are keeping a very sharp eye out. The position of the government is clear. Anyone seeking to enter legally will be welcomed, but the government will show zero tolerance now towards illegal migration.
अगर लोग कानूनी रूप से अमेरिका आए, वो अमेरिका में अवसर मिलेंगे और उनका स्वागत है। लेकिन अगर लोग कोई ना कोई कानून तोड़कर अमेरिका के अंदर आने की कोशिश करें या इजाज़त के बगैर रहे, वो उसका consequences का सामना करना पड़ेगा।
The very sight of the tough new security at the borders and the heavy deployment underway appears to have done a great deal to deter, if not altogether dry up, attempts to sneak into the United States illegally.
हाल में ही हमने अमेरिकी टॉम होमन नामी बॉर्डर से सुना कि बाइडेन प्रशासन में 1800 लोग प्रतिदिन आमना सामना हुआ हमारे सार्वजनिक सुरक्षा रखने वाले बॉर्डर प्रोटेक्शन पेट्रोल से, लेकिन हाल में ही वो संख्या बस 18 बन गए।
Anyone still considering backdoor entry into the US would be well advised to Anyone still considering backdoor entry into the US through the misleading promises of agents or misplaced dreams of their own would be well advised to consider that there is not one but several walls in place, not all of them visible, and that in any case they would be very likely to be rounded up and deported if at all they could sneak through. So this here is a long stretch of Trump's famous wall with Mexico, and this is in San Diego. Behind this wall is another fence, and then Mexico right here behind me. This is a considerably forbidding barrier, but of course not entirely foolproof. And consider for a start that about 700 miles of this wall has been, or this kind of wall has been set up along the border between the US and Mexico. But the border is 1954 miles. So only about a third or so is covered by such a wall. This is a wall that has come up, as have other stretches in areas which have had a history of considerable illegal crossover. But this, of course, is not the only barrier in place, and the wall in any case doesn't look like this just about everywhere. At places it's no more than a fence, much less in height than this one here, and at other places just corrugated iron sheets that are used for makeshift runways. This wall was built, the 700 miles, at a cost of about $2.5 billion. But if it is a full wall right along the border, that's going to cost about $25 billion, which is not a lot considering that Trump has set aside $170 billion for strengthening border security. So this is strong enough as it is, but there's a lot more to come, which is not to say that migrants can simply walk across elsewhere where you don't have a wall, and because that kind of area has its own protections, natural and those that have been enforced. The Rio Grande River is a natural barrier of sorts that runs across 1,255 miles of the border. But then again, there are other areas that are very rugged, very mountainous, very difficult to get across. So there is a natural barrier, and that has been topped by other systems that have been put in place along those stretches. A couple of hundred aircraft and helicopters patrol the border, as do thousands of vehicles, and even that is not quite it. Right across stretches and very visibly and in the old-fashioned way, you have mounted police, and these horseback patrols can be very effective in reaching people who are seen crossing over, reaching them very swiftly indeed. A lot is in place where you don't at the moment have a wall in place, but no doubt there will be even more wall to come up, and the way this is doubly protected, other walls that are already there will be strengthened, and this is something that Trump is determined to do. It was his promise to the people. It is the issue that voted him in as president, and he intends this wall to be his lasting legacy.
Been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.